promoten ze de nieuwe wereldorde. Illuminati, met een zwarte magie. Gebruiken dit tegen de massa negatieve energie. Je gelooft me niet, hè? Oh, dit is het logisch. Te drukken met je hersenen, het is psychologisch. Ze praten scheid, alles dat bestaat suggereert. De waarheid is volheid dat de leugen regeert.
We will not let you get away with this. I got structure, I have your name up behind you.
Kijk hoe ik mezelf in de zijk. Nee, tijdens de tijd dat ik mezelf bijna kwijt raakte totdat mijn mind mijn regelmatige pijn verschafte. Dus lachten die krachten die dachten met mij te kunnen fokken. Maar fuck it, ik kan niet stoppen, dus drop het. Ik zal niet zwichten, zal choppen. Ik laat die koppen weer rollen. Door ze te tollen, bloedstollende tolk. Met dolk vertolk de woorden van het volk. Dus golf met een flow, ik zorg dat ik net als een wolf zal huilen, bijten en grommen. En als je mij wil verdommen en dichter bij me wil komen, dan word ik lijven, sla om en begint te rijmen als bommen en granaten. Ze slaan en zie daar de strijd is gewonnen. Nu is het einde begonnen, geen met de mic en ik donder. Met veel venijn als een monster, mijn remsters kijken en bewonderen. Hoe ik het schrijf en met volle overtuiging dan weer verkondig. Hoe ik strijd en ik zondig, dit wordt mijn tijd, godverdomme. Kill, kill, dit is mijn strijd. Strijd met te veel, veel moet ik kwijt. En ik voel me verdeeld, veel aan de night. Ja, night is wat er speelt, veel rappen maakt me vrij.
AFD, Christine Anderson.
This place is not a parliament. It is the biggest nut asylum in the entire world. They're not nuts.
Verplichten de stilte met bliksemschichten, verblinde gezichten, brengt de hel aan. Vlammen die dansen door een belt, stand op het bewapend passen. Staan vastberaden op een zwarte laarzen, stampen op de maat om ons bang te maken. Maar ze aarzelen, ben klaar met praten, trap alsof ik doe bankeraten. Geen woorden maar daden, ze worden voer voor de wormen en de maden. Laatste dagen slaap ik amper, maar ben klaar wakker, want alles gaat naar de kanker. Orde handhavers staan kalm te staren, maar als vissen uit water ze happen naar adem. Het verraadt hun, massa verandert in een zwarte gedaante. Ze kennen het gevaar, want ze tonen geen genade. Maar ben niet bang voor de donder, ik dans in het donker bij bonkers. Want ze maakten van ons een fucking monster. Laat mijn stem weer gallen, mijn bal, mijn hand vallen. Mijn alles op en vlammen als napalm, maanvallen. Scheid is me waard, terwijl je op je naast spijt, slijp ik mijn zwaard. Dat is hoe ik mijn laatste dagen slijt. Kill, dit is mijn strijd. Strijd met te veel, veel moet ik kwijt. En ik voel me verdeeld, veel aan de night. Ja, night is wat er speelt, veel rappen maakt me vrij. Kill, dit is mijn strijd. Strijd met te veel, veel moet ik kwijt. En ik voel me verdeeld, veel aan de night. Ja, night is wat er speelt, veel rappen maakt me vrij.
Number one, turn off your fucking television set. Be done with it. And never turn it back on again. And you're not gonna miss anything either, by the way. Yeah. Anything happening, you'll find out. Trust me. Turn it off. That's it. Very simple. Also, diversify your sources. Number two, obviously you question everything your government is doing or saying or not doing or not saying. That, by the way, is one of the principles of how democracy works. The critical citizen. Of course you question everything they're trying to tell you.
And by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk and picked up a piece of paper. He said, I just got this down from upstairs from the Secretary of Defense's office today. And he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years. Starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
To go through the countries again?
Well, starting with Iraq, then Syria and Lebanon, then Libya and Somalia, and back to Iran, to Iran, to Iran, to Iran, to Iran, to Iran, to Iran.
Hip-hop staat op uit de dood, in de tunnel zag het licht, maar is teruggeëchoed. Ik heb zijn geest opgeroepen met een Ouija-board. Het spreekt via mij tot ik die NWO bitch vermoord. Pitchfork, fakkels, crisis, bitch Rutte, stop de fucking speed en maak een carrière switch. De wind van voren komt met kabinetten stormen, vang ik hem tussen mijn ogen, ben ik voor de vormen. Molotov, cocktailbommen en glasscherven. Joris D, zie me dood op je deur kerven.
vrij. Geboren tot de dood doordat we sterven, tot ze met mijn bloed de muur rood verven.
And do not only question and mistrust your government, most of all, you need to distrust the EU Commission. It's a hellhole. It's the headquarter of spreading fake news and disinformation. It's disgusting. Number 3, stop voting for the same idiots that got you in this place in the first place. Don't vote for them anymore. Because you might have noticed the ones that have been trying to convince you to, know everything about this novel virus and how to fight it are the same ones that are now trying to tell you we're all gonna die of climate change. Yeah. No, we're not. We are not. It's ridiculous what they're doing. This is just another scheme of getting as much money away from the taxpayers as possible. And once again, pumping it into globally acting corporations. That's what this is all about. On top of all of that, they want to get rid of your individual mobilities. They're coming after your cars and all of that.
Verven, verhef mijn stem tegen het regerend systeem. Zet je met mensen klem, dan regent het steen. Niet liegen als je praat, ik wil waarheid en feiten. Mijn mannen staan paraat, ben een vrijheidsstrijder.
Right. Nothing what they tell us we need to do to save the planet will actually save the planet. Because it's ridiculous. But it will abolish freedom, democracy, and the rule of law. Before, build a global network. It's not just happening in Germany or Italy or Spain or UK or Canada or the United States or Australia. It is happening in every single Western democracy. Since they're all in lockstep about abolishing freedom, democracy, and the rule of law, and making you nothing but underlings and peasants that just have to do whatever they're being told. Since this is happening in every single Western democracy, who do you think is going to step in? Who do you think is going to bail you out? I'm telling you, no one. This time around, there isn't going to be anyone coming. It's not going to be China. It's not going to be North Korea. And quite frankly, it's not going to be Russia either. No one will come, ladies and gentlemen. So, it's up to us, the people. We need to fight this together. And that's why we need to build a global network.
The people need to realize we are actually standing to lose everything that our fathers and forefathers literally spilled their blood over to ensure that we would be able to live in freedom, democracy, and the rule of law. And this is being threatened right now. So the people need to work together to fight their individual governments, but also pull together and make themselves heard.
Ik heb een visioen, zie wat de elite doen. Zie een miljoen mensen, een piramide en poen. Die zaaien staat ligt nog steeds over het klimaat. Ze zaaien die haat en oogsten jihad. Het is tijd om op te staan, op de staat hier op de straat. Ik sta paraat met 80.000 man achter me. Mijn moeder wanhopig gedaden, opende mijn ogen, maar toen ze me waarden zag ik een rouwen met woede en tranen. Zag ik drama ontvouwen op moeder aarde. Zonder de vader geen normen en waarden, sommigen verdood, achtergelaten. Onder de grond begraven tussen wormen en maden. God heb genade, onder de moed en ploeteren, zonder de moeder verloederen. Onder de voet gelopen, niemand geeft een fuck om hen. Het land vervloekt, de orde vernietigd, volk versuft. We worden vergiftigd, de oorlogszucht. De kommer verlichten, de ochtendlucht. Jongen, wees voorzichtig, is een oorlog. Als ik me de ogen open doe, zie ik oorlog. Ziekte, dood, ze promoten bloed. Jongen, en ze gaan door met kloppen, begrijp me goed, nu trip ik. Ze maken me ziek als de pik in mijn griepprik. Fuck een verhitte discussie, zit het kabinet in de fik.
what can you do? What we've experienced in the last 4 years, actually, that unprecedented grab of our fundamental rights, of everything we in the Western democracies actually believed in. And we need to make sure that we will never forget what they did to us. And I would like to talk to you about a project that a few very brave people started in Germany. This is a book, and the title of this book is I Participate. And what this is, it's an archive of every despicable, ostracizing, discriminating, criminalizing, stigmatizing thing any politician, any journalist, and any member of the higher society ever said about the so-called unvaccinated. Yeah! The thing is that we'll never forget, and also not allow any of these despicable and disgusting politicians to get away with claiming, well, I never said anything. I was always on your side, because that's what they're doing right now, isn't it? Yeah. No, we will not let you get away with this. I got the book here. I have your name there behind me. Number 6. Don't use their language. Don't repeat their euphemisms. They're trying to gaslight you by coming up with these great names. For example, the Free Media Act. That's a great word, isn't it? Well, who doesn't want the media to be free? Right? Who's going to say, no, we don't want freedom of the press. No one is going to say that. But that's was just voted on last week in Strasbourg. And the name is great. It's all about censorship. So whenever they're talking about the Media Freedom Act, we should actually talk about the Media Censorship Act, because that's what it is. Another example, these 15-minute ghettos, right? They're calling them 15-minute city. Don't use that word. Use 15-minute ghettos, because that's what they're gonna be. Once again, on the pretext of improving the quality of your life, to make your life, easier, more convenient, and by the way, yeah, we're all to save the planet by having these 15-minute ghettos. No, it's not about that. It has nothing to do with improving the quality of your life. It has nothing to do with making your life easier. It has nothing to do with saving the planet. Because if it was about improving the quality of your life, you kind of think they would start out by building leisure centers, schools, doctor's offices, the parks. They would start with that, wouldn't they? Well, what are they doing? They start by erecting barricades and installing surveillance cameras. Now, why would you need that in a neighborhood that you're dying to live in? Right? Number 7. Break the silence. Stop being silent.
Yeah. We zaten lang vast in een sluimerstand. Terwijl we sliepen liep het uit de hand. Er was controle, angst, ruzie. Leek allemaal echt, was maar een illusie. Toen we 1 voor 1 merkten dat we zelf aan die droom meewerkten. Werden ogen geopend, niks was nog kosher. Weer een protest, meer disclosure. Het is toch maar het topje van de ijsberg. Verandering van tijdperk, we willen vrij zijn, dat is de slogan. Vraag het aan Assange of aan Edward Snowden. Vraag het aan de mensen op het Taksimplein. Er zullen steeds meer acties zijn. Iedereen, van de bankmedewerker tot de bakker. We worden wakker, we zijn één. Wereld zonder zorgen. Eén, we zijn samen voor een beter bestaan. We komen eraan. Komen eraan, komen eraan, komen eraan.
Break the silence. Speak up. And I'm really asking you, for God's sake, be a voice and not an echo. Be the voice. Why it is so utterly important to break that silence. You may have noticed we are on the verge of slipping in to totalitarianism. So, you may have heard of dictatorship. That's not a fine, nice way to live either. But do you know what the difference is between a dictatorship and a totalitarianism? There was a difference. The difference is, a dictator is only concerned about staying in power. That is what he wants. He just wants to stay in power. But he doesn't care what you guys think about him. He doesn't even care how you talk about him. He simply does not care. As long as you are not effective in threatening his power position. So the dictator just wants to stay in power. Totalitarianism, on the other hand, that's a whole different ballgame. Because totalitarianism, they need to control every single aspect of every single individual's life. They need to control your beliefs, your thinking, and everything you are doing. That is scary. And that's actually what we are seeing. Totalitarianism is the worst kind of government or state you could ever imagine. And given the technological means they have at their disposal today, it's gonna be a hell. And it's gonna be a hell that we might actually not be able to get back at us. At least once we are there, we're not talking about 40 years of GDR. We're not going to be talking about 70 years of Soviet Union. Once we have gone fully totalitarian, we are going to be talking about a very, very, very long time. You want an example? Look to China. They are already there. And this will be our future. And I'm not talking about a future 30, 40, 50 years from now. It's happening now, ladies and gentlemen.
You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, but we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness. We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars. And it's been said if we lose this war, and in so doing lose this great way of freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those that had the most to lose did the least. To prevent it from happening, well, I think it's high time now that we ask ourselves if we still even know the freedoms that were intended for us by our founding fathers. Every generation of Americans needs to know that freedom exists, not to do what you like, but having the right to do what you ought. And that is the freedom that I wish for you. Set yourselves apart from this corrupt generation. Be saints. You weren't made to fit in. You were born to stand out.
The difference is misinformation is a statement that is factually not correct, an unintentional false statement. That is disinformation, on the other hand, is a deliberately made a false statement. Has no factual basis whatsoever. Let me give you an example for disinformation. mRNA injections are safe and effective. That is disinformation. Because they knew it was neither safe nor effective. But yet they kept repeating it over and over and over again. Another example of disinformation is the following. The WHO is interested in public health. The WHO is about as interested in public health as the arms industry is interested in world peace. Not at all. Not at all. Now let me give you an example for malinformation. Malinformation, that is the new thing, and there's already legislation, they're trying to get a handle on that. What is malinformation? Malinformation is a piece of information that is factually true, objectively a correct statement, but it's harmful. I want to give you an example for malinformation. Women with penis are men with no balls. It's as simple as that. Number 9. Take away their power. Do you know why they have power over you? Because you allow them to have power over you. It's your fear. Your fear is their power. And I get it. Most people comply out of fear of what the government might do to them. When in fact, they should be way more afraid of what the government will do if you do comply. Take away the power. Simply say no. No, I won't do anything. Oh, how I know that we are winning. Because they are coming up with ridiculous stuff to fight each and every one of us. And once they start fighting you, you know you have won. So thanks for fighting us. That's the end. It's the end. And once you have realized how very liberating and empowering saying no is, you might appreciate the following quote, and it's my most favorite quote, and I will never tire to repeat it over and over and over again. It's a quote by Albert Camus, and he once said, "To defy an unfree world, you have to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion." This is so brilliant, and I'm delighted to be the rebellion. Because all people on the planet need our help. The new need is help. And the future is ours. Thank you so much.
We live in a world consumed by an endless series of crises. But of all the crises we face, the one that may be of the greatest concern is one that receives relatively little attention, and this is the crisis of meaning. In his essay, The Aims of Psychotherapy, Carl Jung called this the general neurosis of our times, and as he explains further, the lack of meaning in life is a soul sickness whose full extent and import our age has not yet begun to comprehend. This crisis reaches back several generations. In the late 19th century, the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche observed that nihilism, or what he termed the radical repudiation of meaning, was on the rise in the West. Was this the result of the fall of the Christian worldview and the rise of a scientific, reductionist, and mechanistic worldview? Was the death of God the most momentous event of the modern era? Nietzsche, writes Walter Kaufmann, felt the agony, the suffering, and the misery of a godless world so intensely, at a time when others were yet blind to its tremendous consequence, that he was able to experience in advance, as it were, the fate of a coming generation. We are now experiencing the fate that Nietzsche prophesied, a fate where, in the words of Viktor Frankl, ever more people have the means to live, but no meaning to live for. A fate which is manifesting in a hatred of the existing society, the apocalyptic sense of an ending, and the need for some kind of worthy cause to give meaning to one's life.
I am not a liberal. If my wife get off, her talking on the phone.
The world has changed. I feel it in the water.
We zijn met één team, ze gaan het steeds zien. Berichten komen nu ook door via de mainstream. Dit hadden ze toch niet verwacht. De Tula Spirit, de collectieve kracht. Een nieuwe dag, ogen waren dicht. Maar nu komen ook geheimen van de staat aan het licht. Wij zijn de reden dat het allemaal stopt. De leugens, corruptie, we gaan de straat op. Het is niet de bank, regering of kerk, maar wij zijn de leiders van onszelf. En als het hart spreekt, zie je hoe het duister afbreekt. En alles wordt gezuiverd, verschoond en geupgrade. Ik lach breed naar de vloedgolf. We zijn met goed volk, net nog op tijd. Raak alle beperkingen kwijt, maak een nieuwe werkelijkheid. We zijn één, wereld zonder zorg. Eén, we zijn één voor een beter bestaan. We komen eruit.